This group standing behind me, this is Team South Carolina in her finest hour, because there was all hands on deck. Here you have a company with Volvo cars, known for quality, known for safety, but more than anything, known for customer service. So it was a natural fit when here it took a state, and what they wanted to see was a state that was going to care about the business atmosphere, but more than that, a state that was going to have a relationship, because they wanted to be made in America. And all credit goes to Volvo Cars for saying they want to make in America, but more importantly, we love that they're now going to be made in South Carolina. $500 million investment, 4,000 jobs coming to our great state of South Carolina. We will very much be proud to say that we now build Volvo cars in our state. I want to tell you that we don't have everybody up here that became a part of this, but what I will tell you is I could not be more proud of the team behind me. They all stepped up when they needed to. They all handled it beautifully. We are going to have a bigger celebration at a future date when we can have our Volvo Cars family join us and really put on a big show for the entire state. But I thank all of you for your patience in waiting to find out this news. But this certainly is a great day in South Carolina. Total credit goes to our Team South Carolina in this process, but I am very grateful for a partner who understands business, a partner who understands people, a partner who, whether he wants to like it or not, understands politics. And so I certainly want to thank my partner, Secretary Bobby Hitt.
It is truly a remarkable day. Not only is it a great day, it's a remarkable day. I've had the good fortune over my career to be in the front seat to watch South Carolina change, having been involved in other manufacturing operations in the state that started about 20 odd years ago. The transformation of South Carolina into advanced manufacturing has just been an incredible change that continues at a remarkable pace, and we're very lucky to have that. I need to tell you that this particular project, echoing what the governor said, has had an unprecedented team involvement in South Carolina. All our sister agencies from DHEC to DOT, Archives and History, DNR, PRT, Sports Authority is behind me, Santee Cooper is behind me, Berkeley County, of course, is behind me. All of these agencies have worked together quietly and seamlessly to bring the best of South Carolina forward. And probably more than I'm even thinking about right now. I should have a good list. I've never seen anything quite like this. And our NGOs work with us as well, and we've had a remarkable run. Our federal colleagues at the Army Corps of Engineers have helped us a great deal in putting together this site and this project. We will be moving forward in the weeks ahead to do some additional funding for this project. We will be seeking support from the Joint Bond Review Committee and the Budget Control Board for an economic development bond. For those of you that know me, I've had some experience with that before. This particular act was created specifically for this type of activity, for the type of project that comes along when the Department of Commerce needs something that's slightly out of its appropriated grasp, and this project is exactly that way. We will also be in front of the Coordinating Council for Economic Development, and we'll be using some funding out of that. The total project right now, as best we can tell from the commerce side, all total will be in the neighborhood of about $150 million. We will build a industrial town along Interstate 26, and we'll populate it with 4,000 people over time. In addition to that, only about 1/3 of this site will be used for this project. Think of it like our anchor tenant. We will have other properties there to develop for industrial growth in South Carolina. This is a remarkable project. We have worked with 5 states that were in contention for this over time. For those of you that keep up with this, we started this project in about July of this past year. I have an...
Thank you. And finally, we do just want to say a special thank you to Treasurer Loftus, who was fantastic at a time that we needed him. He just told me that we got approved for our AAA rating last week, knowing of this deal. So that's also very good news. But I also want to thank Speaker Lucas, Chairman White, Senator Leatherman, who can't be here with us today, Senator Peeler. Everybody really stepped up to show their support. And, you know, it's all of these agencies, all of these partners, the leadership in the legislature, all those things make a great difference. But it certainly is another great day in South Carolina. And with that, we'll open it up for any questions that y'all may have for any of us.
Governor, is there a chance that Geely may also locate either its headquarters, North American headquarters, or maybe another manufacturing facility on the site?
You know, we don't know anything about except for what we've been working on today. You know, with every company that comes, whether it's tires or planes, or you always have the second conversation. But right now, we started with this first conversation, and want to make sure we deliver as best as we can, give them the best people, give them the best training, give them the best service that we can, and then from there, you always hope for extra business.
Governor, based on Boeing and BMW, how many suppliers, how many other jobs can we expect to add to this?
As projects such as BMW, Boeing, and now Volvo cars mature, we start to see more and more companies join. I think we'll see that same. I think so far BMW, after 20 years, has 40-something suppliers in the state. I think if we could project 20 years in the future, that may not be a bad number. But also, I think one of the draws for a company like Volvo Cars here is there is already an existing automotive supplier network here. And so basically, they're coming in and dropping themselves down between BMW and Mercedes-Benz vans. So we have 3 OEMs in the state now as of today, all of which have supplier networks. And of course, we will aggressively be working to help them bring that supplier network closer to them.
Secretary, you mentioned that you could borrow using economic development bonds. Do you know how much you will need to borrow using those economic development bonds?
Well, I expect our total number to be right in the neighborhood of $150 million. And of course, that'll come back to joint bond review and what authorizations we can get. We believe somewhere around 120, maybe a little more.
Can you also tell me more about any other incentives that Volvo may be receiving in relocating to South Carolina or in setting up in South Carolina?
Well, in terms of the dollars, we've told you what the dollars are. There will be land be made available, and we will do ground prep. As you know, because it's in a wetlands area and we are seeking a wetlands permit, there'll be some offset for that. Our friends at Department of Natural Resources will be the recipient of the land that we acquire to do that offset. So basically, state agency will take that part. Also, my friends from State Tech are here, and Ready SC are remarkable. We could not ever close a deal without our friends from the training piece. I can tell you, having been part of a deal 20 years ago, that was a key. It is a key now. There's not a value that you can actually put on that. Some people put a value on it, but basically Ready SC is there to do the work, and will do the work in order to build a workforce for this company. So there are other pieces, but the dollar amounts of what I've shared with you today, and I think you'll see some other things that come from the regional and local communities that will unfold over the weeks ahead, which basically will add to this project. But the material cost of this project will be land and infrastructure, and that's what we're providing amongst the partners that have talked here today, including the port.
Governor, Secretary.
How instrumental electric cooperatives were in landing this plant?
Want me to say? Anytime you bring in a large plant that's a large user, it's very, very important. We've had great discussions with the electric cooperatives in Santee Cooper, and I would say that we were able to find a mutual rate that was attractive to the company and attractive to the co-ops, and it was a vital part of the discussion.
What did Volvo tell y'all was the key? Was it the incentives? Was it the people? And what did Volvo tell you was the most important thing y'all offered?
Well, the governor might answer that,
Yeah.
so I'll let her.
You know, the one thing, and we had multiple meetings with them. This was a company that I value because they were so specific on details. They very much wanted the details. I will tell you at the end of the day, what I believe won Volvo Cars in South Carolina was our workforce, because they saw the fact that this is a state where they build planes. We now have 3 car companies. We now have 5 tire companies. We have carbon fiber. We've got ATV. So what they knew was, if we build it well, and we build it with quality, and we build it with loyalty, and we build it with pride. And that's something you can't just find anywhere. And so when they saw the loyalty of the workforce. They saw the training that Ready SC could provide to make sure that it was custom to their company, to their training specifics, and done right. It was really, the rest of it was all gravy, but that's really what a company's looking for. I mean, this is a huge investment for Volvo Cars to be making. To start building cars in America is the first risk, and then the second one is to make sure that where you choose can actually meet the speed of what they want as well as the specifics of what they want. And I think at the end of the day, hats off to the workforce that continue to build things in South Carolina, because every day they build something, they help South Carolina by bring in just another company.
Do you have any information on the types of jobs and the wages that will be coming in?
We'll be rolling that out in the weeks ahead. You'll see plenty of information on that, but there will be production level and there will be administrative level, and all that information will come out in due course.
Was the incentive package that South Carolina offered similar to Georgia? Did Georgia offer more? Do you know?
I have no idea. I will tell you that there are two essential ingredients in success in manufacturing recruitment. One is a location. That's vitally important. Company has to be able to see a location where it can act out what it's trying to do in its culture and to be profitable. And then the next piece is workforce. So when I talked about the unprecedented support and team, there could be some private companies standing behind us here today too. They did visit many of the companies that you can imagine they would have done. It make planes and cars and other things. And our sister companies here in the state spoke up for South Carolina because it's true. The companies that we have here are growing and expanding. You see it every day. And they do it because of the men and women that are in South Carolina who are loyal and are very good at making things. That makes a huge difference. Companies are looking for success. They're looking for momentum. Right now, ladies and gentlemen, we have momentum in South Carolina.
And just to your point, the website and the link is out there for people who want to work for Volvo Cars, so we hope that y'all will cover that, because that's the most important of all of this is 4,000 jobs on the way, and we want to make sure South Carolinians step up and get ready.
The governor's exactly right. There's also a link for vendors and suppliers as well, so that we can have an orderly process to get things queued up for a new company coming in.
Do we have the training infrastructure to handle all the job announcements that have been coming to the country?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I remind people, some people ask me questions like that. There were no auto workers when we announced BMW, and there are 9,000 at that plant now. There were no aerospace workers when we announced Volk and later became Boeing, and now there are about 8,000 there. So basically what we have is a system that has the ability to act and react and to develop a workforce that a company needs, and that's what we'll do in this case as well.
We're actually known to have one of the best training programs in the country. And that certainly is in part because of our technical colleges, because of Ready SC, always stepping up and customizing that training. And that's really the beauty of what works well in South Carolina.
Governor, will these folks be trained at Trident Tech?
I think we haven't got the logistics yet. We know they're going to be trained. And so that's now going to be working on with the technical colleges with Ready SC to make sure we pull that together.
Secretary, you mentioned that there were no auto workers or trained auto workers when BMW came here in the 90s. How does this announcement today compare to the BMW announcement that really started a lot of waves of jobs coming to South Carolina back in the 90s?
Well, it's kind of interesting because the two companies, when you put them in time, are about the same size, and their ambitions are about the same. As we've seen, South Carolina's been a great place for my former company to act out its long-term strategy, and I believe we can do the same thing with this company, and I think one influenced the other. Make no mistake about it, companies come where they see the potential for success, and they see success being available to them, both in terms of site and people. But those are the key ingredients. Our job is to put the infrastructure in, along with the leadership and else, to create a stable political environment where there's a predictability of outcome in business. And that's what we do in South Carolina. That's what has put us on the map, and that's what we'll continue to do.
Any idea what kind of vehicles they're going to be making at this point?
They haven't announced the mix yet. They will.
When do the bonds need to be approved by the project on track?
Say what? I'm sorry.
When do the bonds need to be approved?
Probably within the month.
Okay, we'll do one last question.
Bobby, it's been 20 years since BMW announced. Now we've had two more OEMs announce they're coming to South Carolina. Did you think it would take this long? Or what do you think why it took a little longer to maybe get more OEMs to come to?
Well, you may recall we had a major recession there in the middle. And if you look at what happened to the automobile industry, it was pretty remarkably bumped around in the 08 time frame. Basically, you have to wait for the right formula. And as you may have noticed, many of the companies that we've attracted here, other than a great jet manufacturer, most of them are from other parts of the world. They see America as a place to be. The governor opened up with her comments about Made in America. But basically, this is a stable economy in the United States, South Carolina, the southeast coast. And let me just say that what we're doing in South Carolina collectively with all the leadership, what the port is doing, what we're doing to build a railroad system that will support it, this is very well noticed all around the world. South Carolina gets it. We're investing through harbor deepening, building a new terminal, building a new rail yard. This tells the world we understand that the future is about people and logistics, and we get that, and that's why they're coming to our door. We have had an unprecedented response from international companies. All 5 of those tire companies are international companies. All of these OEMs are international companies.
And that's the part that we really partnered on early on. Was we didn't want to just get companies from other states.
Right.
We wanted to do something different, and that was very much, how do we start making things in America? How do we contribute in that way? And if you look at it, South Carolina has really become a beaming light when it comes to Made in America. When you see Made in America, South Carolina's not far behind it, because it's not just tires and cars and carbon fiber that we're recruiting, but it's flat screen TVs and bikes and all of these other things that are helping us along the way. And we're very proud of that. We're very proud that these aren't just South Carolina jobs. These are now American jobs that we didn't have before.
You have not seen the governor and I go around to other states trying to pick off their companies. We're trying to grow the American economy. We're trying to grow it here in South Carolina. We've got a world-class port. We've got a world-class workforce. We're building world-class logistics here. These are the ingredients that make us successful. Remember, 5 tire companies, there are no rubber trees here. Everything's got to come in through the port, and most everything we make goes back out. So it's vitally important that the world see us that way. Now the doors are open. We've been to India last year. We'll continue to build that market. We're in China, we're in Korea, we're in other parts of the world. I've been in Europe now for 40 years this year. And so this has worked real well. South Carolina's brand is remarkable around the world. In great part, I would say, when I took the governor to the auto show a few years ago in Frankfurt, she was the only governor there. Now the states were looking at me saying, we should have brought our governor. I said, well, next time you will. So basically, we have stormed the international markets, and we've had a remarkable success with it, and we'll continue to do that. And I think Volvo Cars is a complete indication of how successful that's been. And I can't tell you how remarkable it's been to have all of our sister agencies, private companies, NGOs and others coalesce around this to help us get this job done. It's a remarkable day in South Carolina. A great day, right?
If we leave it with anything, we really want to let everybody know this was Team South Carolina in her finest hour. That's what I want you to take away, because it's a pretty cool thing. Thank you very much. Have a great day.
Thank you very much.